What beloved characters were actually horrible people? Thomas the Tank Engine. Never realized as a kid, but now I'm a dad and I've had to sit through all the episodes. Just about everyone is about a situation arising from Thomas being an entitled douchebag. Peter Pan. He was an absolute dick. He specifically targeted and tormented Captain Hook, who was a pretty tragic character in his own right. Imagine, you're a middle-aged, intelligent professor, and you suddenly find yourself in a strange world that is entirely populated by children and slow adults with the minds of children. All you want is adult conversation, normalcy, your old life back. And one child in particular has taken it upon themselves to gather up a gang, and to spend every waking hour coming up with ways to piss you off. In the end of the book, Hook is practically driven insane by the constant harassment. The whole scenario is practically a toned-down Lord of the Flies with a downtrodden adult thrown into the mix. Grandpa Joe from Willy Wonka. This lazy frick can't help out around the house and stays in his piss-soaked bed for years, leaving poor Charlie's mom to do everything. Then the second Charlie comes home with the golden ticket, he gets up and dances a jig. And then when they're at the factory, this miserable piece of human garbage convinces Charlie to steal fizzy lifting drink, and almost ruins his chance to inherit the factory. What a frick face. Michael Scott. I love his character obviously, but holy frick, if that was my boss. After rewatching like 20 times, I no longer like Phyllis. Literally everyone in 1964 Rankin and Bass Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is an a-hole. Especially Santa, he's the biggest a-hole in the lot. Yukon is the only paragon in the story. He takes in two societal outcasts, puts his own quest for riches to the side to help others, and helped integrate the abominable freaking snowman into society. Caillou. Does the kid ever stop whining? An ex made me watch the Gilmore Girls revival and I for the life of me could not figure out why Rory Gilmore was such a beloved character. Jerry from Tom and Jerry edit. I underestimated how much discussion can come out of Tom and Jerry. Jerry was a cunt. He even sent Tom to hell in one episode. Rachel Green. They were on a break, she was the one who said it first. Yet she gives him shit for years. Edit. Wow, went to a party and just woke up to this. Glad to see there are a lot of people backing my man Ross. She also has no problem sabotaging Ross's relationship with Bonnie by telling her to shave her head again. And also kissing Ross moments after Bonnie left the room, while Ross and Bonnie were still a couple. And sabotaging Ross's relationship with Julie and Emily and a woman who worked at the baby store. Peppa Pig is a bully. This is one of the best scenes with her being a brat. I love the timing on her hanging up. Like seriously, for a kids show, that is 9/10 perfect. SpongeBob and Patrick always ruining Squidward's life. In their defense, they seem blatantly unaware of the fact that they annoy him. They seek to befriend him more than anything. Pepe Le Pew, cartoon skunk and sexual predator. Albus Dumbledore. He admitted his mistakes, but he still made some pretty poor judgment calls for a man of his intelligence and as a supposedly great teacher. I know his hiring practices are supposed to drive the plot and give the books distinct character, but in universe some of them are like the frick. Something was definitely up with Quirrell. Dumbledore obviously knows Lockhart is an idiot. The fake Mad-Eye Moody I'd argue is one of the coolest of the whodunits in the series, but also the in and out of universe implications are weird. Either Barty Crouch Jr. is a ridiculous actor, or Dumbledore is not as smart as we're led to believe. The third option is it's a decently sized inconsistency for the sake of a cool plot. I've never been totally on board with the Dumbledore is actually a terrible person train, but seriously. Everyone in How I Met Your Mother except Marshall. BBC's Sherlock Holmes. He's only charming until you meet someone who tries to emulate his behavior, then you realize how freaking obnoxious it is. Edit, to the people who keep saying that he's supposed to be an a-hole. Please read any of the previous responses about why that's not necessarily the case. I think it's pretty clear that he's an a-hole. Everyone aside from Watson and his landlady and his brother dislikes him. The police guy only tolerates him. He's a dick to everyone he meets, especially to his landlady. Hell, he even says he's a sociopath. I only watched the show because of how Sherlock analyzes his stuff. Severus Snape. Yep, it still baffles me that people love him so much. The always thing is creepy and he still bullied his students for no reason at all. I've never found I agree with Snape's sympathizers. In Book 7, when it's revealed all of his actions are motivated by his love for Lily, it makes him a better character, not a good guy. He's still a huge dick to a kid for 6 years because of a grudge. Granted, James was a huge dick, and judging from his Lily thing he's not great at getting over shit, but damn, he's a dick to Sirius for the same reason in Order of the Phoenix. And after a while, his schoolboy crush on Lily stops being that and becomes obsessive, and he's never gotten over the fact she married an enemy of his. This piece of information being revealed does not redeem all the shit he's done as poetic. It makes him a deeper character, yes, but not a good one. Lily in How I Met Your Mother. She left Marshall, wanted to move to Italy when Marshall finally reached some success and was an all-round bitch to Ted. She sabotaged several of her best friends' relationships for her own benefit. That's psychopath-level crazy. I don't know about Beloved, but Greg Heffley was an idol in 1st-5th grade, who I realized in 6th how awful he is. Janice Ian from Mean Girls. Like she's portrayed as the victim and some badass who goes against the popular crowd, but in reality she manipulated the new student into getting her own petty revenge and then completely abandoned and villainized said student once the obvious thing happened and she was in too deep. I think the whole point was that Janice was also a mean girl. She wasn't in with the Plastics popular girl clique, and was bullied, and didn't fit in, so she was mean too, which is such a common teenage narrative in real life. The message of the movie is that we all have the potential to be mean girl a-holes in our teens, but we shouldn't be because we all go through the same stuff. I don't know how beloved people think they are, but just about everyone in recent Family Guy is an a-hole, especially Brian. They aren't just idiots anymore, they are a-holes. Gregory House was an absolute ass. For sure. And on the flip side of the coin, Wilson is an absolute treasure. Not a 100% goody two-shoes who never does anything wrong, but a long-suffering, understanding dude with a good sense of humor and incredible loyalty. House is fun as a character, but I wouldn't even want to be working in the same hospital as him. Santa tolerated Rudolph being bullied and excluded by the older reindeer, has worldwide child surveillance network, gives more to rich kids, works 1 day a year, is obese smoker. The whole cast of Friends and Seinfeld, they were all generally petty and superficial people. In real life these people would probably be insufferable. Lily Aldrin. All of them except for Marshall were horrible. Marshall deserved better. I like to imagine that a decade or two into their marriage, after Lily complains to Marshall about money matters and household chores at the dinner table, Marshall takes a good hard look at Lily and finally admits to himself that he could have done better. He shakes his head and repeats to himself that which he has tried to deny many times. He could have done better. Then Lily asks him why he's shaking his head in a tone that indicates she's ready to continue arguing with him if necessary. But Marshall just shrugs and asks her if she could pass him the salt. In my little fanfiction, Marshall doesn't leave Lily, even after he realizes that Lily isn't exactly the match made in heaven he thought she was years earlier. He's just not the type of guy to believe in divorce. Besides, he still loves her. Maybe not so much romantically anymore, but more as a friend and as the mother of his children. Besides, he's put up with her shit for years. What's a few more decades? At least he can get away from her nagging at the office and when he's out fishing. And with each passing day he's honing the fine art of tuning her out. The townspeople in cars who arrest the kid for speeding and force him into slave labor until he develops Stockholm Syndrome so bad that he has to return to the town since he is unable to function in the real world anymore.